Hi everyone. The purpose of this video is to talk to you about an experience I had recently in driving some 1,800 miles round trip from Lancaster, Pennsylvania all the way out to Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the annual air show that's held out there. As you can see from the map, it was mostly interstate driving at highway speeds, except of course in a few construction areas, and certainly things got a little slower getting around the Chicago area. The interesting thing to note also is that these were all toll roads, a grand total of somewhere around $75 each way just in tolls alone. Fortunately, the weather was wonderful, so that wasn't an issue. I don't drive at night, so I did this over a 2-day period. I recently acquired this 2024 Chevy Equinox EV, and I've been looking for an opportunity to take it off on a road trip. And of course, this trip to Oshkosh was exactly what I was looking for. The car itself is really great for travel. It's got a number of different features, such as a 17-inch infotainment screen that has all of the Google Maps and all that kind of thing there. So it's really been great. But a surprise feature that came with the car that I really don't have a lot of use for locally, that really came into play on the road, was Super Cruise. So I'll let myself describe what that was like. I'll tell you, this is my first real experience with Super Cruise, and especially on these straightaways on the turnpike without any traffic around, it is really unbelievably good. And the nice thing about it is, you know, you have to be facing forward. It's keeping an eye, checking on your eyes. But at least if you want to open a bottle of water or turn on your camera or something, you know, you got both hands free momentarily. Now, there have been a couple of times where I was a little surprised, and, you know, it moved me over to the next lane automatically, and that kind of startled me because I wasn't expecting that. But it'll do that if there's somebody in your way and the left lane is clear. So it's been unbelievable here. Let's talk about charging the car on the road. What you see here on the screen is a sample of the map that's available within a program called Plugshare. And those indicators that you see on there are the kinds of DC fast chargers that I can use with my particular car. So what I prefer to do is I move along the route that I'll be taking, and I jot down the information about any of those chargers that may be available along the way. And as you can see from the little square that opens up, here's one that I picked that happens to be at a Sheetz in Bedford, Pennsylvania, and you can see the address for it and all of that. So I take all of that information that I found about the chargers that are available along the route that I'll be taking, and I put it into this spreadsheet, and here's a portion of the spreadsheet. As you can see, I've got the location, whether it's a Sheetz gas station or a highway rest area or whatever. I've got a column for the network, and there are various networks that we have to deal with our type of charging that we need to do. And of course the number of stations. I have the address in there so that I can put that into my GPS when I'm ready to navigate to the particular station. And then I've also included a column where I actually calculate the distances between each one. That way there I can figure if I'm interested in, say, going about 150 miles, I can figure out which charger is close to that, and then I can figure out what the distance is to the next one if I should run into a problem, and so on. And then, of course, the first column there has all of the distances between them on my way up to Oshkosh, and the second column has the distances that I'm going to encounter on the way back from Oshkosh. And this, again, becomes very handy in that I can pick what I need and then go from there. Now, one of the problems those of us who do not drive Teslas have is that we're going to encounter different networks as we go along. The three major ones are Electrify America, EVgo, and ChargePoint. Now, theoretically, when you show up at one of these chargers, they usually have a card reader, and you're supposed to be able to tap your card there for payment, and away you go. But the reality is, I hear a lot of stories of those card readers not working. So all three of these major ones, I have their apps downloaded on my phone, and I've established a payment method within that app, and I can use the app to get the charge session started. Now, there are some other ones that I came across along the way, and I figured I would deal with those when I get to them if I ended up using them. Most of the time, I was charging within these three networks, so everything was pretty well covered. Now, I should mention that all of these charge stations limit you to a battery level charge of about 80%. And the reason for that is it takes longer to charge from 80% to 100 than it does to go from 10 to 80. So they limit you to 80%. And what they do then is they shut off the power and they give you a 10-minute grace period. And after that, they charge you for sitting there idle. The whole idea is these chargers are limited and they want you to get your charge, unplug, and move on so somebody else can go in there. In my case, an 80% level of charge gave me roughly 250 to 260 miles. So by limiting myself to a charger that was, say, 150 miles away, it gave me a 100-mile buffer if I should run into some problems and need to go on to the next one. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.